cram it down to about 5 minutes. So the Everglades is really big. You guys want, feel free to stand up, take some selfies, take some photos of each other, but also look out over the horizon. You will see it literally is a river of grass. It just goes on as far as your eye can see. Now, especially from down at your vantage point, you can imagine 100, not even 150 years ago, being out here with no landmarks, no power lines, no buildings in the distance, no GPS, no electronics, only you, the stars, and if you really know where you're going, and any maps of the area, which at the time, if you've ever seen like mid-1800s maps of Florida, it's literally just the outline of Florida and a little bit of the northern parts. Down here, this was never mapped. The interior of Florida was actually not lived in by most of the natives who lived here. There was a single trail that went from Miami across to Fort Myers area and up to Tampa. It wasn't called those things back in the day. They had Native American names, from the Tequesta over in Miami, the Calusas over in the west coast, and the Charuquas to the north. Tampa to Miami. Anybody from there around here? Highway 41, what's it called? Tamiami Trail. Tampa to Miami, Tamiami. It was an actual trail, partially on land, partially by canoe, but eventually became a highway, which is one of our main routes that goes across and left the state. Now, back in those days, they didn't really venture very far interior just because this is what you had. Imagine trying to find your way around, you get lost pretty quickly. It wasn't until the Seminole during the 1800s, which at that point all the natives who lived here had all died off due to disease, war, and things like that. The Seminoles, who were in northern Florida all the way up into parts of Georgia and Tennessee, were forced into Florida. They were fleeing the government at the time, who was chasing out all the Native Americans to other parts of the U.S., mainly out, through the Trail of Tears and into Kansas. The Seminoles fled into Florida and were some of the first people to actually live in this terrain. Now, parts of the Everglades are more elevated than this, and will have slightly less water. And as you look on either side, you'll see there's not much water to begin with. So you can imagine 3 or 4 foot higher elevation, and you're going to be pretty much dry. And those areas are more wooded, and have typically kind of highland forest look to them, and they are a tropical or subtropical hardwood forest. But those only make up a little less than 20% of the overall Everglades. Most of it looks something along the lines of this, the freshwater marsh. Now, the freshwater marsh is surrounded on both coasts by ridges of limestone. That's what everything in Florida is made out of, limestone. But it's actually higher in elevation along the coast than it is in the middle, and when it rains all summer long, our rainy season fills the Everglades up. In some areas, it might get as much as a foot of water. In other areas, as you can see, you might get 2 to 4 feet of water. Now, because we have a wet season, that must mean we have dry season, of course. We're in dry season right now. I know if you've been here for the last couple of days, it's been raining a lot, but typically from November to April, we get almost no rain at all. Because this water is flowing very slowly, about half a mile per day to the south and out to the ocean, the water levels will slowly recede. The Kissimmee River and the lakes in that area, all flowing south into Lake Okeechobee, during the wet season, that would then overflow into the Everglades, 60 miles wide, over 130 miles long. So as you look out and you see the word, and you think of the word Everglades, you can see why. It goes on forever and ever and ever. And for the most part, it's relatively flat. I can have a lightning storm over in Naples, if you're not sure, that's on the other coast. And at nighttime, I can see the lightning from here. Now this, of course, is a lot of fish, snakes, frogs, salamanders, and other amphibians, turtles, and of course, the alligators. The drier portions of the Everglades, or when these portions dry out sometimes, we will also see otters, deer, the occasional black bear more towards the northwestern part of the Everglades up here, like Okeechobee in that area, and of course the elusive Florida panther, which is one of the most endangered mammals in the world. They're estimated to be a little less than 130 Florida panthers right now. At one point they were less than 15, so they are coming back, but unfortunately a lot of their space has been divided up by levees and canals and highways and residential communities, so they're kind of isolated in small pockets with very limited resources. They actually become overpopulated, even though overall the whole state there's very few. There's just too many in one area. Now, alligator-wise, they're actually doing quite well now. For the last 40 years, the alligator population has recovered from overhunting. They were near extinction, but with protective laws and farming practices to raise alligators for their meat and skin rather than being poached from the wild, the alligator population has recovered back to almost 2 million in the state of Florida alone. They are found in other parts of the world, and of course throughout the southeast United States we have about 10 to 12 million alligators total. Florida and Louisiana both have very large populations, because think of anywhere in Florida you've ever been, or Louisiana if you've ever been. There are no mountains, there is no high ground, it's all water. Anywhere there's water in either of those states, there's probably alligators. Now you might ask, how come we don't look out and see like 50 of them? One, they don't want to be seen. actually most of them you will not see. You are surrounded by all kinds of wildlife right now. It's just a matter of looking in the right spot at the right time. So what that means is when we go to start up, keep your eyes open and keep looking around. Don't just look straight ahead, look left, look right, look up, look down. You never know, you might spot a really cool fish or turtle in the water while we're slowing down, or you might see some osprey or other birds up overhead and a cool fish. We do have a large blue heron that's flying around up ahead there. You might be able to see him above the grass. If not, when we get up going again, you'll probably see him. Looks like a pterodactyl in the sky. They are one of the bigger birds out here with a wingspan over 4 feet. And we do have about 350 species of birds. I don't have time to name them all, so here's about 25. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. There's a lot of birds. Pretty much mostly aquatic or wading birds. So egrets, herons. We do have some bird of prey like owls and hawks and vultures and things like that as well. But mostly aquatic birds. Ducks and things of that nature. We're going to go ahead and start it up, guys. Go ahead and pop your earplugs back in, and away we go. alligators. You can see he's kind of getting up out of the wind a little bit. It's been rainy and overcast the last couple days, a little bit on the cooler side. Today it's warmed up a little bit, so he's obviously, as a reptile, trying to warm up his body temperature as much as he can. He's trying to stay out of the wind, so the grass kind of helps block it. This way he's up above the surface catching the sun's rays. Now, I usually use those bony plates on his back. They're like built-in solar panels. This helps him absorb the heat of that sun and transfer it through his body. You guys saw that turtle that was over there, and there's actually another one coming up on the right-hand corner there. These are soft-shelled turtles, so these turtles actually have kind of rubbery, leathery shell. I do have to remind you, if either turtle or alligator do happen to approach us on the boat, do keep your hands inside the boat. Use your zoom lens. Do not reach out to get a better photo. Alligators are lazy hunters and are always waiting for a handout. Now, they are ambush predators. They do literally sit around and wait for things to get too close to them. Birds, fish, snakes, birds. I'll get it, Jeff! Anyway, I lost my seat cushion and went poof. I'll have to come back out later in another boat and get it. Here, boy! Oh, crap, so that must be a female then. It just made it sound similar to a baby alligator. And it kind of like piqued her interest a little bit. And typically males have nothing to do with baby alligators, and females usually respond to the distress call. By making that sound, she thinks, oh, maybe there's a baby in trouble, I need to go help out. Because she can clearly see we are not a baby alligator, she is keeping where she's at, a little bit of a distance from us. Alligators are generally pretty shy around humans and do avoid us for the most part. As you can see, a bigger, older one like this, probably been around the block a few times. She's kind of used to some boats and some movement. As long as we give her a little space, she'll let us get a little closer. Alligators are predators. They do eat, but not everything. Only what they can easily catch, and only as often as necessary. Alligators typically conserve energy by not hunting. And when they do hunt, they sit and they wait and they strike. Alligators will generally eat what they can swallow whole in one bite, or slightly larger prey they can swallow in maybe just 2 or 3 bites. They do not chew their food. They have 80 cone-shaped teeth that are used for puncturing and holding their prey. Although they do have the strongest jaws on the planet, they can bite through bone